guys, and welcome back to my channel, A Little Bit of Everything with Erin. Today we will be doing a tutorial on how to do an alcohol ink epoxy flow tumbler. I'm just getting my alcohol inks here prepped and ready to go by taking the lids off. I am using a color called Mermaid, a pink fuchsia, and a purple. If you do this, make sure you don't use a lot of colors, and if you are using colors like a deep blue, a deep purple, or black, make sure you pay attention to how much you're using because those three can kind of overpower your lighter colors. I have a 16-ounce tumbler here on my spinner, and I pre-painted that white with a little bit of spray paint and let that completely dry before I started this. My epoxy is a 1-to-1 ratio. Please read the directions for your epoxy to make sure that you are making it correctly. There are some that are 2-to-1. I'm using the finger method to apply my epoxy today. I want to get it well coated, and I want to coat it kind of quickly. You do want to do a thicker amount of epoxy than you typically would because you're going to need that epoxy to flow and move freely around the cup when you add your alcohol ink. Now that I have all the epoxy added, I'm just going to randomly pick up my alcohol ink and just randomly drop it onto the cup. As you can see, as it spins, it kind of flows and moves around. That's why you want a little more epoxy than you typically would because you want that to be able to move and move the color around. It's best to use 2 to 3 colors. I have found in my experience using more can kind of muddle things and it doesn't look as nice. I'm going to go ahead and kind of fast forward this part for you so you don't have to watch me do this. At this point, I turned the turner off and then back on so that it would spin in the opposite direction so that the colors would start moving in the opposite direction and make fun little different design than it would have if I kept going in the other direction. Hope that makes sense. My camera was too low to pick it up, but I am actually using my heat gun now. This is to, 1, pop any air bubbles I have in the epoxy, but 2, heat that epoxy up a little more so that that color kind of moves. As you can see, some of it's dripping on the bottom because now it's moving more. And then I'm just going back in and hitting some of those white spots with more color. I just want to get a lot of color on the cup. I don't want a whole lot of white showing. So because I heated that up, I do want to make sure that I'm just filling in those little gaps. Now this is completely optional. I just wanted to see if it would work on a cup because I do other objects with epoxy. And I'm taking white alcohol ink. White alcohol ink is heavier than regular colored alcohol ink, and when you add it on top of a colored alcohol ink, it does what's called making a cell. I didn't know how it would work with it moving, but I just wanted to test it out and see what it would do. We're now going to let this go ahead and spin anywhere from 4 to 8 hours with a max of 24 hours so that epoxy can harden, the alcohol can continue to move, flow, and do its thing. Now that it's completely hardened, we're going to add our 651 vinyl. I cut this out, it says go with the flow. I thought it was appropriate. This is from craftbundles.com. If you use my code ERIN20, you'll get 20% off anything on their website. I'm going to use contact paper, which I pick up at Walmart in the kitchen section, and I'm going to use that to transfer my vinyl over to my cup. Okay, so if you've been watching me make these, you know I love to add a little bit of color to that last layer of epoxy. So I'm going to add a little bit of this bright neon yellow glitter and the white glitter, and I'm just going to put that over this. I don't have any glitter on the cup, so putting it on that last layer, I always think it's just fun and adds a little extra pizzazz to the cup. Completely optional, just my signature on any of my cups. And again, just going in with the finger method, using a gloved finger to put that epoxy all over my cup. And again, we're just going to let this spin for 4 to 8 hours, a full 24 hours to cure on that without touching it, just letting it be and doing its thing. I just wanted to show, just look at that sparkle. I'm just taking the heat gun to make sure I don't have any air bubbles. This isn't vital to make the flow or do anything different. But just look at the sparkle from that last layer of epoxy where we just added a little bit of glitter. I just think it came out perfect. I'll show some pictures at the end of this, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my page. Please give this video a big thumbs up, that really helps me out. And if you hit that bell, you'll get notifications anytime I post new videos. Until next time, guys, happy crafting!